What's up guys, Jeremy here, welcome back to my channel, and today is a special video because I have my good friend here, JD. JD, say hi.
Hi guys, it's an honor to be here with Jeremy and I can't wait to get into it today.
So just a, I guess, introduction, JD is a real estate investor and he makes most of his income through Airbnb. So today I'm just going to interview him, I guess podcast style. I don't really do much videos like this, but I just wanted him to talk about his real estate journey and what he's been doing. And he makes a lot of money with all of this Airbnb investing, so he really inspired me. So I wanted to get inside his mind, and hopefully this video inspires you guys. But before we do that, I'm gonna need you guys to
smash the like button.
Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Just give us, I guess, on average, how much do you make a month through Airbnb?
So I do just about everything with Airbnb, and with that, combined from all the different sources, is about $25,000 to $30,000 a month, depending on the season.
Oh my God, $30,000 a month.
A month, yeah, and that's like net. That's
net,
not gross revenue. That's in the pocket.
Oh God, that's amazing, dude. Okay, so that's all right. So now that we've got your attention, now you see what kind of investor JD is. So making really good money, but before we get to that, like, I just want to know some background about you. So I guess tell us where you're from, like where you're born, where you grew up, I guess, where you went to college after that. And then maybe after that, what got you into real estate and what got you into Airbnb specifically?
Yeah, and those are great questions. So I grew up outside of Philadelphia, and it was a small town in the suburbs. Not a lot of people going anywhere. It's pretty modest living. But I decided that, opposite of what my parents and everyone else around me wanted me to do, I got into real estate. I started paying rent when I got out of college, and I didn't like that, and I decided I don't want to pay rent. So I got into, I wanted to buy my own house so that I could have roommates and rent to them. And I knew I wanted to get out of that desk job.
Okay. What was that desk job?
I was working in insurance. I spent a lot of time looking to be an actuary, which is a fancy word for someone who does spreadsheets and plays with data.
Oh, so basically, yeah, strictly at the desk, crunching numbers doing spreadsheets, basically.
Yeah, and the highest you can get within that field is just doing more spreadsheets and managing people who do spreadsheets.
Basically, a life that's not fulfilling.
Exactly. So
I remember you were saying you wanted to do real estate despite what everyone else around you wanted to do. So it sounds like, I guess, people didn't want you to do real estate, or they thought they should. They said, oh, you should do something else.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone wanted me to stay down that path and keep pushing the traditional education route, just get more advanced within actuarial sciences, and just have that nice, safe job. Threw that right out the window and dove into real estate.
How old were you when you got your license?
I've had my license for just over 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
So it hasn't been all that long, and I bought my first house not even 3 years ago today.
Oh my God. Wait, how old are you? Sorry to interrupt.
I'm 27.
This guy's 27, man. I'm 20. I just turned 27, and he's. How many properties do you have?
I have 6.
Oh my gosh, I just have 1 or 2 now because I'm doing a flip.
But you have some pretty nice.
We'll talk about that later. Okay, cool. So I guess growing up, when everyone's telling you to live this safe life, how did you know you didn't want to, I guess, play it safe?
I just, more and more, I started taking chances and doing things that the people who I had always looked up to and I valued their opinion. I just started doing things that I felt was right in my gut, that contradicted them, and the more I did that, I ended up in cooler and cooler places, and I just learned to keep doing that.
Cool. So I'm guessing you looked up to people, but you saw their life, and then you started thinking, okay, well, I kind of want to live something bigger than that. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, and I started seeking those people out who had the life that I wanted and taking direction from them. It's super cliche, but it works.
Yeah. Hey, this guy's doing this. That's cool, and I want to do that. I do the same thing. When I saw Graham Stephan, I found him on YouTube. I'm pretty sure every real estate person that does YouTube is because of him. People see him doing YouTube, it's hey, I want to do that, right?
Exactly, and I'm guilty of getting the course and having Graham's help with starting my channel.
Yeah,
so.
same. Graham, if you're watching this, we both bought your course, so give us a thumbs up or something.
Smash the like button.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So taking it back, you got your real estate license 2 years ago, right?
Correct.
Okay, and were you doing Airbnb investing or Airbnb before or after that?
So I started before I got my license.
Oh, before, okay.
Yeah.
So you got into Airbnb, and I'm guessing you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get my license just to take advantage of being a realtor, right?
Yeah, I fell in love with the home buying process when
Okay.
I was working with my first realtor.
Nice.
And I realized that real estate and renting things out and passive income was the way I wanted to go. So
Right, yeah. And
just to have my license for getting my own houses was
yeah, because you get the commission, right?
exactly, it's enough. So just to get that money back every time I purchased, it was worthwhile getting it.
Oh, yeah.
And then anything else was a bonus, just being able to
It's like, wow,
rent.
I get paid to buy my own house, right?
Right. I've had deals where just the commission alone paid for most of the down payment.
Wow, that's amazing. That's Philly prices for you.
Yeah, I mean most of it's the math too. So
Yeah.
ironically, I had a listing that I ended up purchasing. So I was on the seller side and buyer side.
Oh wow.
5% commission, 5% down payment.
Oh wow. Boom. There you go.
Boom.
I help you, you help me. Right? So okay, so you're 27. You got real estate license at 25. How old were you when you, I guess, acquired your first Airbnb rental?
So I was 24 when I got my first rental for Airbnb. And my first house, I was house hacking in a single family house. I had roommates and one of my buddies couldn't move in for a couple months. So what I ended up doing is he gave me this great idea to just throw the room on Airbnb until the room was ready a couple months later instead of letting the room sit there. So I tried that, saw that it was working. I actually, just on a bedroom in my house in a sugar room, I brought in $1,900 the first month.
The first month?
The mortgage on the house was $2,000.
So it's like someone else paid for the mortgage.
Exactly,
Oh,
just that room, and I had 2 other rooms after that. So
So your first Airbnb was a house hack?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I was doing a room in my house, and then I moved. My second rental was a whole house in Airbnb.
Okay, so for those that are watching that don't know what house hacking is basically you own a house and say there's like 4 bedrooms, JD is living in one, and then he rents out the other rooms, right? That's house hacking.
That's exactly what it was.
But he took it a step further, and instead of his friends, renting all the rooms, he had that, and then one room was on Airbnb.
Exactly, so I had 2 friends renting and then 1 room on Airbnb.
Wow. And that one room paid for the whole house.
Exactly, so then the rest, the other 2 roommates were cash flow.
Yeah, oh wow, oh my gosh. And how much, so you bought the home, how much was the purchase price of the home?
First purchase was $375.
Wow. And how many bedrooms?
4 bedrooms.
Oh my god!
3 full bathrooms, brand new construction. Shout out to Philly for having these sweet options.
That's Philadelphia, man. Oh god, I gotta invest in Philly.
I'm sitting here thinking I can't wait to get into something in Hawaii. So.
Right? Oh jeez. Well, now you know like the prices. I'm sure it's kind of like a big shock for you, huh? Like just seeing like the difference between Philly and Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, and I looked at prices last time I was out here, so it wasn't like the sticker price that shocks me, but it's the HOAs out here that are killer, man.
Dude, my HOA right now, $1,000.
Yeah, that's half the mortgage back in Philly.
Oh man!
Just on HOA.
Well, okay, to my defense, it covers cable, internet, electricity, sewer, water, and I have a pool. But still, like, ugh. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, HOA is definitely a killer. But anyway, so I remember when we were talking off camera, you're doing Airbnb. You have 6 units. I remember you mentioning Airbnb arbitrage.
Yeah,
do you do
so
that?
if you're talking Airbnb, I've tried it all. And I think that's part of how I ended up where I am, is I got lucky with trying a bunch of different things and then just picked what was working for me. So
Are you still doing that now?
yes.
Okay.
So I have 6 units that I own, and then there are 3 that I rent out on Arbitrage.
Oh, wow. Okay. So for those that were watching, because I just found out about arbitrage recently, could you explain what Airbnb arbitrage is?
Yeah, sure. So most people who talk about Airbnb and having like a ton of units or a ton of doors, what they're talking about is arbitrage, because that's like where people fluff it up and say you don't need a lot of cash to get in. You rent someone else's place, and then from there you take that and you put it on Airbnb. So you're paying rent to a landlord and trying to make more than the rent via Airbnb, so that you don't have to put the big down payment for a nice place, and you just rent and take advantage of the difference.
So it's kind of like subleasing in a way, right?
It's subleasing to get
it
cash flow.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is where people get in trouble because you're not always allowed to sublease.
So when you do the arbitrage, do the landlords know what you're doing?
I do.
Okay.
I do tell them up front they have an idea, because
Okay.
I don't want to get screwed down the line and get pulled out of the lease or lose security deposits.
It makes
or whatever.
sense. So you go up to a landlord, hey, I want to rent this, but this is my plan. Is that okay with you? And I'm assuming, of course, if they say yes, then awesome. If not, you just move on to another rental.
Yeah, exactly. And usually what I do is I pick out new houses that are on the market, or fresh renovations that are on the market that aren't selling for whatever reason, or maybe they're asking for too much, or the owner wants to keep it for a year or two, but then they're having trouble renting it, and I realized if I can just swoop in and give them like a decent rent offer and tell them what I'm doing, they just want to hold anyway, so it works out for both parties.
That's really good. Like, that's very, I guess, out of the box, you know, because you're solving two problems. Like, you're well, not problem, but you want to, you know, do this opportunity, and this landlord or owner is having trouble renting or selling. So, you know, you create this deal where both parties, I guess, benefit, right?
Exactly, and that's how I try to structure like any deal I go into, is like
Win-win.
think about it from their mind first. Like, what are they trying to get? And if that matches with what I'm trying to do, great.
Awesome, dude. That's sick. So now that we know what arbitrage is, so you have 6 units that you own, and then 3 units? 3 units?
Yeah, 3 units
that you arbitrage. Okay. So at any time, I'm guessing, so for those arbitrage, you're renting it long term. Is that like a 1-year lease?
Usually shoot for 2 to 3.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Most of them are 2 years.
Yeah. And the landlords would like that, right?
Yeah, they love that, especially if they're trying to hold their property for a couple years. Like, it just works. They get it back at that point. And it works for me because you have to furnish it up front. And usually when you go for like a 2 or 3 year lease, they'll give you like a month or 2 free. Something to help offset that furnishing cost.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I guess now that we've talked about Airbnb, so from what I've known about, you know, buying property and renting it out, my whole life was like, okay, just, you know, long-term lease versus, you know, like this whole arbitrage or this whole Airbnb thing is like so new. And I feel like here in Hawaii too, if you didn't know, like 2 years ago, they just passed a bill where you can only do Airbnbs in certain areas in Waikiki. So that kind of limits us.
Right.
So that's kind of like why I kind of like not really care about Airbnb until, you know, I've met you and I've like heard about all of this stuff. So I guess, have you had short-term rentals before? Or not short-term, have you had like long-term leases before?
Yeah, so I've had some long-term leases, and I actually prefer short-term over long-term.
Really? Like, aren't you afraid, like, you know, like with Airbnb, like the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, someone throws a party and like they wreck it. Like, have you had, I'm sure you've had those work.
Yeah, right? I mean, I've hosted over like 2,000 reservations at this point, and all of large numbers, you're gonna have some messes here and there. But at the end of the day, especially like with COVID and everything, and the lack of ability to evict tenants, I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen, but the flexibility of Airbnb is so nice. You can choose how long they stay. They don't get the same rights as tenants. So as long as you keep them under 29 days, at least in my area, they don't get any tenants' rights. So if someone's causing trouble, you just kick them out.
Oh, wow. That's so smart.
Yeah, it helps a lot. And then, like you said, it is a little scary that the laws can change. And here, you need special licensing or zoning, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. And that's always there. But at the end of the day, what is your worst case scenario if the law changes? You end up doing long term. So your worst case scenario is the only other option that's there. So it's really not that bad.
You go from awesome to okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I remember you were saying that you prefer short-term tenants. Why is that? Like, can you like tell us why? Like a couple reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. Long-term tenants seem to feel like they're a lot more entitled to different things. They're in units a lot longer, so if you end up like having like awkward situations or having any beef with a long-term tenant who says they're gonna stop paying you because it's raining outside today or whatever the reason is, like that's just a lot harder to navigate than someone who's only in the house for a couple days. Like they're gone.
They're just here.
You get a refresh or restart.
Gotcha.
And then on top of that, the wear and tear is not as bad. Like, you're not with
Really?
a long-term tenant. You're probably not going to go in there all that often. As long as they're paying you the rent, you might not see your unit for a while. But with an Airbnb, you have cleaners in and out of that place consistently with the expectation of someone new is going to come in and it has to be fresh. So the upkeep just keeps it up.
I love that. So that's actually a smart thing because I would have never thought about it because my initial thinking of having an Airbnb unit is that, oh my god, it might get trashed and all of that. But that's a good point because if you have the cleaners coming in and you're not seeing the property, obviously if something's wrong, they're gonna call you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you have the right system set up for the cleaners to contact you. You're having someone go through there way more often than you would if you had a long-term tenant. And people aren't in there for as long. So they go in, they stay there for however long, and they're out. Whereas with a long-term tenant, they might be hanging things up. They might be putting in fixtures, like all types of things that like they're like, oh, whatever. Like I'm gonna be here for years. Maybe I'll fix it when I'm done.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna do this, and then right before my lease is done, take it out and then fix it, right?
Right. They don't ever fix it.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, yeah, because I have my mom. She's a property manager. She has one of her out of 75 properties she manages. Good thing the tenants all pay except for one, and they're just riding the system. And they're like running like an illegal daycare center in their home, and they know that you can't be evicted. So they're making all this money, but they're choosing to not to pay the owners. And we feel bad because the owners are like taking a hit and it got so bad that they had to sell their home. So we said, okay, we're gonna sell the home, and we talked to the tenants. Even though they're kind of like playing the system, they're like, okay, fine, you guys can sell it. And I guess they caught wind that like, oh my gosh, like if they sell the home, we can't live here anymore. So we got into escrow, as far as escrow, and then when we did the home inspection, the home inspector tried to go in and they wouldn't let him in. So we had to cancel escrow, and then they just ghosted us. So now they're just kind of like squatting in there. And I think like
they have that property on lockdown.
Yeah, dude. And like the rent is like $3,500 a month, and they haven't been paying for over a year.
That's crazy, and that's what's so scary, especially right now.
With long-term leases.
With long-term, like you might be out $3,500 a month. Whereas, like if someone doesn't pay for your Airbnb, like whatever the reason is, if you can't collect for a reservation or whatever, like you just get someone new in that's paying.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean that's like a couple days loss of potential income, but you could just always pick it back up and like find someone else. Versus like a whole month's worth, right?
Yeah, a month, or like, I mean, sometimes evicting can take 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months.
We're still trying
to lose a year's worth of rent, like you can get forced into a pretty bad position.
Yeah. Oh man, so wow, that kind of really opened my eyes as far as short term versus long term. So I guess as it stands now, you have 6 units that you own.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing. And they're all on Airbnb.
Yeah, except for my primary residence.
Oh yeah,
I'm still house hacking that one.
Oh nice. Oh, you still house hacking? Oh
yeah.
Wow, dude, that's great.
Still keeping the magic going. I actually Airbnb'd my room out when I flew here to Hawaii.
Dude, so it's paying for your trip, basically.
My room that I rented out was paying for my room here.
Wow. Talk about passive income.
Sharing economy.
So now that we understand your level of like income, I guess so when you're back in Philly, what is like your day-to-day routine? Because like for someone like you that's making around $30,000 average through Airbnb, that's all passive, right? Like, do you have any hardships? Do you have any because I know with me, real estate stuff comes up all the time and all of that, and I'm like, oh my god, maybe this deal won't go through. So what's your, I guess, day-to-day schedule? Can you like walk us through that?
Yeah, sure. So I start out in the morning with either getting right to work or working out, depending on what mindset I'm in. Trying to get it going. But really, like whatever I was thinking about before I went to bed, or the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning, as far as like work that I can be getting done, I try to get to work and use like, I don't know, I always say that everyone has like a certain mental capacity that they can use each day until their brain is fried.
Yeah.
And they can't accomplish anything anymore.
Oh.
So I try, like when my brain's in that mindset, to use it.
Nice.
And I spend a lot of my time right now building out the systems for my management company.
Building systems. Well,
Yeah.
what time? Okay, so what time do you usually wake up?
People aren't gonna like hear this, but maybe like 9 or 10.
Oh my god,
I sleep in because I can.
You can, right?
The,
See?
the time is really flexible, so it just depends. Like I try to get 7 hours of sleep, so my
Oh yeah,
brain is
absolutely.
always there.
Nice. Yeah, because I sleep at 10:30 and I wake up 6:30 because I need sleep.
Yeah, exactly. You need to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, what gets you up so early? Why 6:30?
So I wake up at 6:30 because like I start my workout from 7 to 8. Like you said, I start every morning, every weekday with the workout, and I just feel like there's so much to do in my schedule, in my life. I gotta take out clients, schedule showings, answer emails, think of a YouTube video, script out my YouTube video, and then either film and then edit, all of that stuff.
Right.
And so now that's why I like wake up early, but because of that, it's kind of starting to like, I guess, take a toll on me. Like anyone can be hardworking. I consider myself hardworking.
Sure.
I know you are, but everyone's human. And I feel like now that's like, okay, it got me thinking, okay, what other ways can I make time work for me? And I feel like you got it locked as far as making time work for you.
Right. It's getting that flexibility, but the problem is it depends what you're working on, because I'm sure this happens to you with the industry you're in.
Oh yeah.
Is your phone is blowing up constantly from the hours of like 9 a.m.
As we're talking, right?
As we're talking. So really the goal, like for me, is if I can schedule meetings early in the day at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, that's good because I'll get up earlier and I'll have more time. And a lot of times lately I've been staying up really late and sleeping in until 9, because those late hours after like 8, 9 o'clock, that's when I really have time. No one's blowing my phone up anymore.
Yeah.
So
it's like time to yourself, right?
It's time to myself to really work on some things, and then I have to get that sleep.
That makes sense. So what time do you usually sleep?
I would say I go to bed, if I'm staying up later, I stay up till like 1 or 2 o'clock, and then I'll sleep until 9 or 10.
Okay, that makes sense. It's still like that 7 to 8 hour sleeping frame. Essentially mine's the same, it's just pushed back a little more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's just such social pressure to wake up early and get started early. There's all those books out there about Miracle Morning.
Miracle Morning.
Waking up super early, getting ahead of everyone. I just stay up later than those people, because for me it's harder to get up in the morning, and just I feel like a total bum if I sleep past like 9.
Question, do you have an alarm clock? Do you have an alarm?
Not really.
Oh my god. Yo, if that made you mad, press the like button right now.
Yeah, not really. Unless I have something going on early, no alarm. Just let it ride.
That's awesome, dude. Honestly, like that is something I strive to, pursue. Like that's why I'm working super hard right now to build money to buy investments that make me awesome money. But what's crazy is just like living here in Hawaii, we have this like, I guess, closed mindset. Like all we know and all we see is Hawaii. So I never even thought about, investing elsewhere in the United States because I didn't know about it, and like now I meet you and hear about, oh wow, I could buy a 4-bedroom for like $375,000, rent it on Airbnb and make all this income. Like it really like opens my eyes, like because like for me, like that's just like an island kid's perspective,
Right, it's all relative, and it's tough for people to get behind like investing somewhere that they're not familiar with. That troubled me for a while, but I'm at the point where like I can pull trigger on on anything if it looks like it cash flows on paper.
Yeah.
I know enough about the market.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like what real estate is. Like, show me the numbers. If it makes sense, why not, right?
Exactly. And I'm sure you get this as a realtor yourself, is that you don't have to like physically go see it to know that it's good or bad. Like, you've seen enough listings, enough houses to be able to tell.
Exactly. As long as you know the area, you should be fine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you would hate Philadelphia for another reason, is that on brand new construction and most renovations, there's no property tax.
What?
For 10 years. You
What?
get a 10-year tax
Oh my
abatement.
god!
So whereas you have taxes here, you have HOAs, you don't have HOA or property tax on brand new stuff. So that's like how the Airbnb model works so well for me, is you want nice new stuff to advertise.
So
And
a
now you
lot
don't pay
of your
taxes.
purchases are new construction.
Most of them, if not all. Oh yeah, almost all.
I guess, okay, so like for me and like for people watching, I'm sure after watching this video that they have like this interest into investing in real estate and putting on Airbnb. I know I do after talking to you. So I guess what would you say is the best advice to anyone trying to get into real estate or trying to own real estate for the purpose of Airbnb?
So there's a couple things about it, and the first thing I'll say is you want to be upfront with however you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're trying to arbitrage and rent from landlord, tell them upfront.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You don't want to do that on the low, right?
Yeah, on the low, it's just you don't want to
Shady.
get into the habit of doing shady stuff. Like just keep it real the whole way through. But ownership is the best way to go. If you have the ability to buy something, because then you not just get like the cash flow, but at the end of the day, like, you're paying your mortgage down, you're building equity, you're getting appreciation, you get all the good stuff with home ownership, and you're just a lot safer. And the last thing I would say for people to remember is you don't have to do it yourself. There are companies that manage Airbnbs for you.
Like property managers specific
To
for
Airbnb.
Wow.
And a lot of people are scared away from Airbnb because they don't have time. It's like, it can be like a full-time job.
Yeah,
on
if
top
you're
of
doing
your
it
regular job,
yourself,
If you're doing it yourself.
Oh my god.
If you think managing long-term tenants is bad and like getting that call up in the middle of the night for your toilet or whatever, Airbnb is so much worse.
Yeah.
The number of calls you get for anything are so much worse.
Wow. So coming from like a property management standpoint, I used to do that with my mom. I guess the going rate is about 8 to 10%, sometimes 12% a month. What is the property management fees for Airbnb?
You'll see 18 to 22. So it's about double what you would see on a long term. But keep in mind, the best way to figure out what an Airbnb would make is you can safely assume it's going to make anywhere from 1.5 to up to like 3 or 4 times what long term would make. And that all depends on like how you're picking out your Airbnb, and that's a whole nother conversation. So I'll pick one out. But let's say low end, you're at 1.5 times the rent. I mean, you're going to be able to afford another 10% to a management company.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
not
yeah,
a
and
big
it's
deal.
worth it.
Yeah, if you're making 50% more and only paying 10% more on management fee, like you're getting a pretty nice difference there.
Because something is better than nothing, you know? And I think that's what makes people scared, like, or they don't even want to try it. I hate when people are like, oh, I don't want to pay that, like, pay all this. Like, you are paying this so you can live a stress-free life, right?
Right, you're making more money and doing less work. That's like, that checks both the boxes that I'm looking for.
Wow. So, since you've got all this locked down, I just want to, like, before we end this video, like, ask you, I guess, the time frame of like your whole Airbnb portfolio. So I remember you said you bought your first property, which is your primary residence, in 2015.
In 2018.
2018. Oh my god. So 2018, you buy that. That's $375. You said, right? 4 bedroom.
4 bedroom,
4
3 bathroom.
Okay. And then how many months later till you buy your second one?
So second one, I got 4 months later because I saw that this was working. I was like, I gotta get it done.
Okay. And so you go to a, of course, loan officer, get pre-approved. Are you using your W-2 income?
Yeah, so I was using W-2 income, and then it's cool that you can, when you move out, you can just count the extra income in your house.
Yeah.
The second one I didn't move out for. I actually just bought it in Philly, in Pennsylvania, you can do 15% down on a single family home.
Okay.
So that's what I did. And that's the other problem with multifamilies is you have to put so much more up front.
Oh yeah, if it's like above 4 units, right?
I mean, even 2 units.
Oh, really?
Nowadays, lenders are looking for like 25% down.
Oh my god.
That's like another secret to success is I just buy as a primary residence. And then I move in.
Yeah, exactly. That way you can just do what, like 10 to 15?
3 to 5.
3 to 5, wow.
A lot of leverage.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone's cup of tea. A lot of leverage.
Because I always thought 3 to 5% down was for first-time home buyers.
Yeah, so 3% is for first time, but you can get 5% for primary residence.
Wow. Oh wow. No matter what.
Yeah, as long as like the typical rule is you have to live somewhere for a year before you move.
Yep.
So
that
that's
makes sense.
Every year, instead of celebrating my birthday, I celebrate moving time. We're all in the
Dude, yeah, I mean that's for your birthday. You buy a new property, right?
I do end up closing like within a week of my birthday.
Oh my god. Dude, that same thing. Like, so I bought this condo that we're in last year, 2 weeks after my birthday, and then I just bought my flip property like a week after my birthday. So that's cool. So I'm probably gonna do the same.
You're on the cycle. You're on that birthday cycle.
Wow, dude. So, okay, buy your first property. 4 months later, buy your second property. How much was that?
So the second one was $420.
$420. And how many bedrooms is that?
4 bed, 3 bath.
Oh my
the
god.
Classic Philly home.
Oh my god. Wow. Okay. So you do that, and then you buy your third property. How many months after the second?
So 12. I did the 12 months this time.
That makes sense. Like, you know, just get settled. You know, get your funds, and at this point, you're still not a realtor, right?
So that was the first one I was a realtor on.
Okay. So third property.
Third property.
You represented yourself.
Exactly. So I had to bring the 5% to the table.
Okay.
But then I got 2.5% back.
Yeah, because you're buying it, right?
Right.
Nice. Okay, cool. So in a span of maybe like 16 months, you already have 3 properties.
I was at 3.
Yeah. Your portfolio sounds like it's around 700 to 800 grand.
So the first one was 375. The second one, I went 50-50 with a partner. So,
Okay.
So that one, now we're at about 600,000 total
Okay.
assets for myself. And then the last one was almost 500,000.
The third one.
Third one. Ooh. So we're at 1.1 million.
Damn. And you are
20. I turned 26. Right as I got that third one.
Wow. So that's 3. All right. So when you go into the fourth one, from 3 to 4, how many months is in between?
So that took forever. I actually put it under contract like a month after I got the third one. But
oh my god.
So it was one of those things where I was playing around with something new. I put it under contract before they started building, before they even cracked ground.
New construction.
Because
it's no property taxes, right?
Yeah. So you got the 10-year tax abatement on that. Property tax of $200 a year. So you're talking $25 a month. Like it's negligible. But I put it under contract before they cracked ground, and COVID hit and all in between. So
this is recent.
It ended up taking them like 13, 14 months to finish when it should have been like 4 to 6.
Oh wow.
Slowed me down way too long.
How much is the fourth property?
So that one was 400.
400. Okay.
Yeah. But the reason I decided to get it custom built was I had a relationship with the developer, and he put a hot tub on the roof deck for me.
Can I get a hot tub?
Hot tub skyline, let's go.
Wow. So you're like, hey developer, can you put a hot tub? And he's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, and that's the huge thing with Airbnb is you want like an amenity that no one else can get.
Oh yeah.
You want to stand out. So I was like, I know a guy who builds houses. Let me try to like have him do something special so that no one else can compete. And now those houses like do some of the best work.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Okay, and then when did you close on the fourth house?
So the fourth one was about 6 months ago now.
Wow. So
4 or 5 months ago.
We still got 2 more properties left. Wow. Okay, so you get that, you close on that. You got the hot tub on the roof, and then now you buy your 5th one. When was this?
So the 5th one happened ironically. The 4th one, closed. It was doing well.
Yeah.
And because it was doing well and it was looking good, I went in with a buddy on the fifth one, which was right down the street, same house, same builder, same everything.
Dude, right? Like, why reinvent the wheel? Just replicate it, right?
Right, and it just happened naturally because I was so hyped up about that fourth one, and I was talking about it to my friend. He's like, "Well, I want one." I was like, "Well, let's do it, dude."
Wow. And that was like, how long in between? Four and five? Like, how many months?
We're talking like a couple weeks.
A couple weeks. Oh my god. How long was escrow though?
Yeah, I mean, it was maybe like a 5-6 week turnaround.
Okay. Yeah. But he saw what you're doing. Holy shit, JD. I want to do it too. And I'm like, yeah, all right, let's do it. And then 5 weeks later, you just buy it.
Yeah. Just make it happen.
Wow. Okay. And then fifth one, then to the last one. How many months in between is that?
So that one kind of happened all around the same time. Bought it as an investment property, so single family home, 15% down. And that one happened right around the mix.
Wow.
So I think those three were all within a 2-month span.
Oh my gosh.
And it was ironic because I was showing, this keeps happening to me, I was showing a client of mine a house like that I thought would be a great idea to rent out.
Okay.
And they chose not to buy it. And I was like, this is a great deal, like someone's got to buy this. So
who's gonna buy it?
So I brought it to one of my friends, and I went in with a friend on this one too.
Oh man.
And we just, it's been working ever since.
Oh wow. Okay, so that concludes all 6 deals, right?
So all 6 deals, and we're about I want to say it was about 2.5 years to get it done. So for anyone watching this out there, I got into real estate. I got my first place only 2.5 years ago. And within that 2.5 years, I was able to quit my W-2 job and focus on real estate full time. So it's not like I didn't start with a ton of cash. Before that first one, I think I had $3,000 in my bank account. About when I went into escrow.
Wow.
And I just did odd jobs like Uber and Lyft, like
just to get the cash
every weekend till I had enough cash to get the 3% down and get started.
Wow, dude.
So you don't need a ton of money.
Yeah.
You don't, unless you're in Hawaii. You might need a ton of money.
Wow. Well, JD, thank you so much for taking the time to visit Hawaii and do this with me. If you guys really like this video, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to JD's channel. He's also building his YouTube. And I do want to say before I end this video is, okay, so if you find one of those properties and you need a partner, feel free to ask me. Are you down?
I'm so down.
Let's do it. Maybe I'll make a YouTube video about that. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.